Today on the newscast, China, Russia, and Iran hold a major joint naval drill as their anti-Western alliance grows. Get all the breaking details next. Hey folks, Erick Stakelbeck here. Welcome to the Watchman Newscast. When we look out at the world landscape today in 2022, it can often feel like 1939 during the run-up to World War II. Think about it. We've got wars and rumors of wars everywhere you turn, and the enemies of the West are on the march. The barbarians are quite literally at the gates. In some cases, they are inside the gates. We are in very perilous times right now, folks, but these are also Bible times, as we've told you many times here on the Watchman Newscast. One more indicator of that is the events of today, Friday, January 21st. Russia, China, and Iran together holding a joint naval drill in the Indian Ocean today. First, the details, then we will get into the broader picture on what this drill today means. A major drill by three major adversaries of the United States and the West, clearly. First, the details. Some 11 Iranian vessels involved in this drill, which took place across about 11,000 square miles of the northern part of the Indian Ocean. Also, 3 Russian vessels, including a destroyer, and 2 Chinese vessels. Then, of course, you had Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps also involved in this major maritime drill, contributing smaller boats and helicopters to the drill. Now, this was the third such drill conducted by Iran, Russia, and China together since 2019. And you have to think that the timing of this latest drill today was no coincidence, as tensions are clearly escalating among all three of those nations and the West. Russia, of course, with 100,000 troops massed on its border with Ukraine right now. U.S. officials clearly concerned about a possible Russian invasion. And during that rambling, nearly 2-hour press conference on Wednesday, President Biden addressed this and made a major mistake, which he has caught a lot of criticism for, when he said that a minor incursion, quote, by Russia may provoke less of a response by the West and by the United States. Clearly, Vladimir Putin was watching and probably took that as a green light to invade Ukraine. So a lot of damage done with that statement. Biden also said that he believes that Russia will invade Ukraine. So we're clearly keeping a very close eye on that as it all heats up. China, of course, threatening Taiwan continuously. And once the Beijing Olympics end, folks, next month, they kick off in early February. They end at the end of that month. All bets are off the table. China will be unshackled from the world's attention, which will clearly be on that nation during the Olympic Games, and perhaps they would look to move against Taiwan sometime in the not-so-distant future, God forbid. And then, of course, we have the Iranian regime, the Iran nuclear deal, Iran nuclear talks, the attempts to revive that disastrous deal not going very well, according to all reports coming out of Vienna. So a lot of tension right now between these three powers, almost like a new axis. I talked about the run-up to World War II. We almost have a new axis of not almost, we do have a new axis in 2022 of anti-Western powers. Obviously, Russia and China, two powerful nuclear powerhouses, collaborating with Iran, which is trying to build up and become a powerhouse, a regional powerhouse in its own right in the Middle East. And it comes again as tensions are escalating in all three of these hotspot areas. So China and Russia are clearly just projecting strength to the West and saying, not only do you have to deal with us individually, but perhaps you will have to deal with us in tandem. Not a very comforting thought, obviously, for the West. Then you have Iran and the Iranian regime. And we have to mention Israel here. We've been talking West, U.S., but now let's bring Israel into this. A clear message by the Iranian regime, not only to the world. Remember, again, those talks are unfolding in Vienna right now as we speak. A show of defiance by Iran, just the latest show of defiance by the Iranian regime, collaborating clearly here with China and Russia, but also a message to Israel. Number one, Iran is saying, look, not only do we have growing military and naval capabilities, but Israel, we have very powerful friends. And we've seen that very clearly in Vienna at those nuclear talks where Iranian diplomats are meeting with diplomats from Britain, France, Germany, China, and Russia, and also the United States, at least indirectly in that case. But China and Russia have been aligned with Iran and allies of Iran, basically had Iran's back during these Vienna talks clearly. So again, a message from Iran saying we have powerful friends, and look no further than Syria, where Russia, obviously Russian troops on the ground, side by side, fighting alongside troops from Iran and Hezbollah terrorists, aligned with Russia, a nuclear powerhouse. Again, this is a pretty unique situation, folks, in that Russia is a nuclear powerhouse openly aligned with Islamic terrorists in the form of Hezbollah and the world's #1 state sponsor of terrorism, according to the U.S. State Department, the Iranian regime. That is happening in Syria right now at Israel's doorstep. So it's no wonder that we had a very interesting report out of a Saudi media outlet this week. We're talking about the drill today between Iran, Russia, and China. Well, reportedly, according to this Saudi media outlet, Israeli fighter jets conducted a refueling drill this week over the Mediterranean Sea, clearly practicing for a possible strike against Iran's nuclear facilities. To carry out such a strike, it seems that Israel would need to refuel on its way to Iran or back from Iran in the very least. And this drill reportedly took place over the Mediterranean this week, was not confirmed by Israeli officials. Again, this was a report out of a Saudi media outlet, but it does not seem outside the realm of possibility, because we know that Israel has planned for this spring 2022 major military drills simulating an attack on Iran's nuclear facilities. Folks, fasten your seatbelts. I have said that 2022 will be a year of acceleration. Certainly the events we see today with Russia, China, and Iran coming together, this new anti-Western axis, reaffirm what I have been feeling. Stay in prayer on this. And hey, at the end of the day, as all of this calamity is happening and it seems that the world is crashing down around us, just a helpful reminder here as we head into the weekend, Jesus is the answer for everything that's ailing this fallen, chaotic world right now. If you do not know him, if you have not put your faith, your trust in him, I strongly encourage you to do that right now, because things are clearly heating up. And if you want peace as the walls are crashing around us, you'll need the Prince of Peace. Hey, thanks so much for joining us here today on the Watchman Newscast. Until next time, God bless you. And remember, never hold your peace. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out the Watchman Newscast. If you enjoyed this episode and want to see more, make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, click subscribe, and tap the bell icon to turn on notifications for new Watchman Newscast episodes every weekday.